We will pray. Yeah, we will pray at the end, but I want to get going now. So hang on just a minute. Okay. Okay. So number one, we have a good agenda. It's going to be 60 minutes. So take notes. Make sure that you have a document to take notes with. If you need to stop and ask a clarifying question, that's great. If you're totally lost, let us know and we will try and come back. I just want to make sure everybody isn't lost. So, okay. Number one, we believe that you all are smart women. And that's why you joined Mary and Martha, because I believe smart women join Mary and Martha. Here's what it means to be a consultant, though. A consultant is independent. So you have people, Wendy and I are here to help you. Make no mistake about that. But the other part of Mary and Martha is that you're an independent consultant, meaning that at some point you got to figure it out. Okay. And it means that you need to be a consultant, whether you have one party a month or whether you have one party a year. Because once you have a party, you have customers, and those customers need to be cared for. So if at some point you choose that, you know what, I don't want to do this, I don't want to have customers, I don't want to sell. Again, we've told you individually when we've met with you that this is your business. So whatever you decide is great, but make sure that we're aware so that we can take care of your customers, because I don't want anybody missing sales or, because that's unfair to your customers. We're here to support you. We hold your first party. We do your first live. We show you, we're going to give you information today and documents about how to set up events, information to capture on your hostesses, how to set up a Facebook group. And if you choose to have other types of parties, we will definitely help you with that. But once we're done with that, then you have to give it a try yourself. And that doesn't mean that if you can't figure it out, we're not here to help you. Okay, because we are. And I hope that we've shown you that we are here to help you. But we also have other people to help. God willing, we have other new consultants that are going to come in, and we have our own businesses to run. So you've got to try and figure it out. And when you can't, and you've exhausted all other methods, then reach out to us and we will help you. Here's sort of the hierarchy that I sort of like to follow, and that's probably not a good word, but number one, I want you to figure it out yourself. Number two, if you can't, then reach out to Wendy and I. And you know who your leader is? That's the person you should reach out to first, is your leader, whether it's Wendy or me. Now, yeah, I'm not always available during the day sometimes, but I also don't know of anything that is so urgent that it has to be answered immediately. I mean, so unless, something is really urgent that you need help with immediately, give us a chance to answer it, because what I'd like to say is 12 to 18 hours, but I know that I answer and Wendy answers things within 2-hour time periods. So if for whatever reason, like I'll tell you right now, I'm out of the country from the 24th through March 2nd. So Wendy will be your first point of contact, but she'll be busy. And so if you don't get immediate help, you are involved in chat groups, whether it's some of you only are in Servant Squad, because that's where we put you first, because otherwise it can be overwhelming. And that's one of the things of starting a new business, is we don't want it to be overwhelming. So if it's overwhelming, take a step back, let us know, because we are also your coaches to talk you off the ledge. Okay. And not so much in my business, but in other areas of my life, believe me, I have people that I call when I am overwhelmed with life, and they help me off of that ledge. And that's what Wendy and I are here to do. Okay. And the reason I ask you to come to us first is because I'll be honest with you, my immediate thought because I think that Wendy and I do a good job of trying to give you all the information we can and try to help you. And when I see questions that are easily answered, my first thought goes to who is their leader and why don't they know this? And I don't want my peers thinking that about me. I want them to know that we are taking care of you. So please know that we are here. And there are times when we will tell you, ask in the chat group, because we don't know the answer. And at that point in time, we don't have the time to find out for you. And so somebody else might know it. But in general, I think Wendy and I can answer probably any questions that you have. So I hope that makes sense. This is not meant to offend anyone, because all of you are doing a great job. So make no mistake, you all are doing a great job. But at some point, we just have to lay the groundwork, because otherwise Wendy and I could find ourselves doing it all for you. And we both want to help, and we know that we'll do that if we need to, but we just really can't. So we want you to be aware of that. Okay, so anybody have any questions about that? I'm looking at a different screen, but I will go back to the Zoom and see if you guys have any questions about that. Why can't I get back to my Zoom and see you all? Oh, I know. Hold on. Well, I'll just ask Wendy. So if you guys have questions, if anybody has their hand up, I'll let Wendy call on them. Anybody have their hand up, Wendy?
Nope, you're all good.
Okay. Okay. Number two, I'm going to turn over to Wendy, because the very first thing, what we're going to talk about tonight is not closing a party or anything like that, because until you have a party to close, it really will make no sense. So what Wendy's going to do now is she's going to walk you through the information that you need to capture from a hostess, when and what. Okay. So Wendy, take it away.
Okay. So I just added, I believe, all of you to, and if you can't find it in your Facebook notifications, let me know. But Anne has a sample Facebook group, and it's called Anne's Sample Simple Party Group. Anne's Sample Simple Party. Rhoda, you were already a member. We'll tag you in a post, Rhoda, you'll find it. I'll even make a note so I don't forget. Okay. In that group, I uploaded a file, a Word document that I created and use, that then you guys can also, because it's a Word document, you can modify it if you want. You know, you'll just download it to your computer and save it, and then you can modify it to fit your needs if you want. I literally did not start doing this until I think October, and I don't know why. I was writing it all down and just random pages in my notebook before this, and let me tell you, this made everything so much easier. So it's a document. I don't know, can I share a screen? Share screen.
You should be able to. Because I made you co-host.
Files. Oh, I don't know. It wants me to do things in different ways.
Do you have a green button? Oh, hold on.
I'm like, I have a green button. Desktop, share, allow Zoom to share. Oh, I haven't opened my system preferences. Oh my goodness. Okay.
You should be able, no. You should just be, now do you have a green sharing button at the bottom of your screen?
I do,
Okay.
But what I don't have, my system preferences are tied up right now. I can't get it to quit trying to verify my email address. So I can't screen share at the moment.
Okay, that's all right. Just show them.
So it's a Word document. It's 2 pages. I just printed out front and back, but it has everything you need when you're setting up and working with a new hostess. So hostess's name, I have a spot if they booked off of a previous host, because I always think I'm going to remember it. And let me tell you, in October and November with all the parties, I couldn't remember it. So I was writing it on there. The date and time that you've set up their live presentation, if you're doing a Facebook Live or if you're doing it in person, that would be the date and time of their in-home party. And then when you tell them that you're closing it, their address, their city, state, their zip code, and then because of the way our system is right now, anyone who set up a party, their county and their tax rate, because you have to select that, their email, their phone number. When you set up their Facebook group, you can customize the names of the group. Like my customer community group is facebook.com/groups/inspired with Wendy. And so I have in there that inspired with Wendy instead of a series of random numbers. And that's in a document that showing you how to do that is a document Anne has created that we'll post to this group too. Sometimes you might offer an additional booking gift, whether that's paying for their $14 host bonus item, or if you're doing a promo, like when I started, Anne was doing whatever the date of the calendar is that your live is, you paid 50 cents times that date. So like my party, I purposefully put on February 4th. So I only had to pay $2 for my host bonus item because I'm cheap. And so like, if you're offering anything like that, there's a spot to put that in. You can write a date for when you send or give or email the hostess letter with all of their, this is how your party's going to go. This is what we need you to do. There's a little check boxes. Did you create the event in your back office? Did you create your Facebook group? All of this that you can use. I always ask my hosts for their wish list, as well as what they want for their host bonus item. And so I can note that all here. And then did I give them the wording to put on their Facebook page that says, I'm hosting a party. Do you like what you see here? And a bunch of the pictures. Do you want more information? And then to email each person individually, either by text or messenger, to make that personal invitation rather than just using the invite button. The dates for what days my posts are, which days my lives are. And then the back is what their party closed out at, how much they get for host credit. Basically, this is everything I'm going to use when I'm closing out the party, but I put it all here in one spot. So I have it all ready to go. And I don't have to go back through texts or voicemails or Facebook messages to find it. Then I also list if there's any new bookings that were made. I have a spot for if the previous host claimed their half price item, what my party income is, if I have any party expenses, if I paid anyone's shipping, if I paid their host bonus item, or if I gave them an extra box of scripture shareables, those are expenses. And so I track that all here. And then I just have a miscellaneous other notes section. So let me tell you, you can do it without this sheet, but it's really slick to have something like this. And because it's a Word document, if you are a Mac user and you want it in the pages format instead of Microsoft Word, let me know because I can share the pages with you too, because I actually have a MacBook. And then you can edit it and make it your own. But it's really helpful because it makes sure that, I mean, it's a guide to help you make sure you get everything that you need as you're setting it up, and then to empower you as you're closing, so that when you're closing that first party and you're like, okay, Wendy, I need help, I'm ready to close. And I'm like, okay, so what did the hostess pick for their half priced item? I forgot they had some. Like, no, you won't have to forget that they had some because it's all here. So we can just, it'll streamline the process. There we go.
Right. So like she said, there's different areas on there and there's different sections that get filled out at different times. So as far as when you have a hostess and you're getting ready to set up her event and set up your Facebook group, the most important things are, especially if she does not exist in your customer list, like if she's never purchased from you already, then you need all of her information, her name, address, phone, email, because that's all required as part of setting her up as a hostess. Her hostess gift, because that's all part of the Facebook group, because there's a post to that. So you need to know what she wants for her hostess gift. And ahead of time, you need to determine, like she said, how you want to run your business as far as that hostess gift. So I will be honest with you in that because they're, even though they're not meeting in your home, because they are having a party for you, that their hostess gift with me is always free. You can charge them the $14, but then it's not really a gift.
I
So
often charge them the $14.
say that again.
I almost always charge them the $14.
Okay, so
And here's part of why, because I've figured out that if I'm going to spend $14 on my host, I would rather offer them an additional product, gift, or credit. And then I use something that counts as my personal sales volume.
and that's fine, and that's perfectly fine.
So that's what I do, because if I'm going to spend the money, I might as well make a little extra. I might as well make my 25% commission off of it.
But you are offering them something different.
Right.
That's probably not $14.
Right.
Okay, all right. So that's one of the things that you need to decide. How do you want to run that part of your business? So that when we talk to you, you know, especially if you have questions or stuff, and so whichever way you decide to do it is perfectly fine. And if you want them to pay the $14 and you don't want to offer them anything extra either, that's perfectly fine too. I think that's how I ran my business in the very beginning. And then I decided that, okay, I wasn't going to mess with it. I'm just giving them the hostess gift. Okay. So so the very beginning of that form is what you need to set up when you have a hostess. The next thing is that you have to set up your event in the back office, and that back office is where you go when you log in. And it has the home page, the order page, the events page, and there is a document that Jennifer did in Canva. But I don't know if everybody can access it if you don't have Canva. So for many of you, you have the instructions in either Word or a text that says for every single field, here's what you fill in. And some of the information when you create an event is left blank because you're not doing an in-person party. So there's no address information that you have to enter for the hostess. So again, follow the instructions, okay? Because the instructions in the document are very well laid out. They tell you when to fill in something and when not to. And what you have to remember is that the event is all the hostess information. If you're the hostess, it's your information. If it's one of your hostess, somebody else, it's their information, okay? And in that document as well, once you have the event, the whole purpose of setting up the event is to get a shopping link, a link specifically for them, because that link is where all the sales are going to go. And then those sales are what the hostess gets credit on. Okay. So that's why you set up an event. And that's also why you set up your own event every month. So you set up your own party. You're not going to necessarily do a live, but you set up your own event so that you get your February shopping link or your March shopping link so that you can be a hostess every month with what people just buy off of your customer group. Okay, so they can go to mymaryandmartha.com/your name or your consultant number, however you've set it up. But if you do that, if they go there, that doesn't go to any party. That just goes directly to you and you get credit for it. But if you set up your own monthly link, you can also be a hostess every month. And remember, if you have $100 in sales on that link, you get a half price product. For new consultants, that helps build your samples. And then it goes up. You know, mine normally, because I've been in a year, are anywhere between $300 and $700 a month. And so I can choose to have a mystery hostess and have somebody else get the hostess credits, like somebody who orders during the month. Or if it's a month with new product, I take the product credit. Okay, so make sure that you set up your own event every month that runs from the first of the month to the last of the month. And then you'll also have your hostess events set up in there. So you'll have multiple events going at one time. Okay, anybody have any question on that? Anybody have their hand raised? Okay, I don't see Wendy
Sorry,
saying
no,
anything.
no one has their hand raised.
Okay, okay. All right, so then the next thing is, and it's really before you do this, so you have a hostess, you gather her information, and then you send out a hostess packet. Now, Wendy, do you have a hostess, an email hostess packet?
No,
Okay,
what I have,
so,
what I have is, I have a document, a Word document that I use. And I've got, send this out to the hostess to have her post on her wall and use this wording. Send this out to the hostess to invite her friends individually and this wording. And then I
right.
go straight into, on day one, I post this at this time. On day two, I post,
Oh,
so I copy and paste it. So I have it like all in one big
no,
document.
I know that, but do you have you don't have anything that you sit down with your hostess and review with your hostess?
I do, but in pieces in other spots, not
Okay,
in
all
one
right.
spot.
Okay, so I also have a hostess email packet. And so what I do is I mail that to them as soon as, well, you know, if a booking is next month, I don't mail it to them right away because it'll get lost in their email. So I mail it to them a few days before their posts start, and I walk through it with them because I'll guarantee you they won't read it, but at least you can say you have the information. And many of you new consultants have it because I've sent it to you. But if you don't have it, it will be posted in that sample party group. You can tweak it however you want. I do put pictures in there so that they can see. So there's pictures of the host bonus items because that's when I collect that information from them. There's pictures of the host item, the when they get to $500 in sales. And there's other pictures in there. So it's not just text anymore. So, but I recommend that you get their email address and you send them the information because one of the first questions people ask me is, what can I earn? And so if you have it all laid out, then you just review that with them and, you know, make sure that they don't have any questions because of course, if they're going to do this for you, of course, the number one question is what's in it for me? And that's what you want to make sure that you are always thinking at the top of your head. None of this is about you. This is all about them. Posts included. Posts are for them and their customers. Posts are not for you. They're for them and their customers. So whatever you want them to do for you, you have to tell them what's in it for them because otherwise they won't do it. Okay, so I'll post that hostess email packet in that sample group as well. I do have that in a Word document. Okay, so now the hostess has her document. You have all the information. You can create the event and you can create the Facebook group. And we have that document for that. And if you get stuck on the Facebook group, the other thing I'm going to do is we'll post
And I
that.
did, and I found the
Go ahead.
PDF, I found the PDF document that you had Jen create last, like August, September.
But it's not the simple party. Oh, you mean the PDF of
The PDF of how to set up an event in your back office, which fields to leave blank with all the
okay,
links. and
I
shit.
didn't know she created a PDF. If you
Yep,
have the PDF, if you
I
can
did, and
post
I
that.
added it. I added it in your simple party group. as
Okay,
well.
that's great. Okay, so the PDF is out there. So that's good. So you can follow that through. I will tell you that Facebook, I tell you, my groups are like different every time. But once you know what you're looking for, you can find what you're looking for. And we don't change much when we set up our groups. Then as far as, let's see, let me just make sure, walk through. Okay, then like Wendy said, and I don't think any of you have gotten this right, and I don't think hostesses get it right either. So number one, you know, most of your friends and family will not know what Mary and Martha is. So you can go into your Facebook group and you all know there's an invite, a blue invite button on the top right. Do not use that button right away. because when you do that, they have changed it. So now you can put something in there. But what we want to do is first, you want to identify the people in your Facebook group, if you're doing it on Facebook, that you want to invite, and you want to send them a personal, your hostess wants to send a personal invitation to them. So you're going to send her via Messenger, because that's how mostly she's going to communicate with her friends that are on Facebook. So you're going to send her a messenger message that has the verbiage in it that she's going to use to invite her guests to the group. Okay, so that's step number one for the hostess. She sends out a personalized email message, or a personalized message rather. And if you look at what I've sent to many of you, it says hi, and then there's a blank. And that's where she is to copy it, change it with the person's name that she's going to invite, and then send it to that person. So she copies, she pastes, she changes the name, she sends. And once you get going, it's a really fast process. I mean, I do 100 people really quick because I send it out to some of my customer groups. So that's number one. And in there is the link to your Facebook group, not your shopping link, but the link to your Facebook group so that they can join on their own. On day two, if they haven't joined, then she can go in and invite them via the Facebook link. But I have had different people, including some of you, post that invite in the Facebook group. You wouldn't do that because that's for people who are already in the group. Or they just send a mass message out to everybody, and you don't want to do that either. You want that to be personal, and you want to stress to them that people don't know what Mary and Martha is, and they want to hear from you for the invite. Me inviting them to somebody else's party does no good. The hostess needs to invite them to their Facebook party, okay? Then the other thing that once they've done that, because I found too, I confuse people. So once they do that and you see people start to join the group, you see new members in the group, then we also have a Facebook post for their personal wall. So we give them a post that they can put on their Facebook wall that says, hey, I just found out about this new company. I love it. They have lots of products. Their catalog just launched. And if you want an invite, let me know in the comments. You don't give them the group in that comment because you sort of want to keep it a secret, okay? Or you want some excitement. So if they want to be invited, because even you and or your hostess may have people in the Facebook group that they didn't think would want to attend, but once she posts that on her wall, they say, hey, I want to invite. Nobody wants to be left out. So you want to create some of that excitement. So you just say, you have the hostess say, give me let me know you want an invite. And then she sends them that same message that she sent to everybody she originally invited. Okay. So you don't post the link to the Facebook group on her personal page. You keep that sort of a secret, and you have people say, yeah, I want an invite. So that's two things that you're going to ask your hostess to do. And she needs to know this. You have to walk through that with her up front. And that's one of the reasons for that email hostess packet. Okay. So now she's sent out her messages. She's got people in her group. And here's what I have found. And Wendy, I don't know if you have numbers for your groups. If you invite 20 people, if she invites 20 people, 25% will order. If you have 40 people, 25% will order, which is 10. If you have 50 people, 25%, which is 12 and a half people will order. That's what I'm finding in my groups. It's like 25% of the number of people that are actually in the group will order. So if you keep that in mind, if she's only got 7 people in her group, guys, you can guarantee it's not going to be a good party. You need to tell her she should invite at least 20 people to her group. Okay. Let's see. Okay, then, so now the hostess has people, you've got your event set up, so now where do you get your posts from? So we're going to try and make this as easy as possible. But what I'm going to say up front is the goal is not to copy and paste from what we're going to give you. Everybody does things a little bit differently. Wendy's personality, and because it's based on your personality, Wendy's personality is very different from my personality. And if I were to post everything that Wendy posted, people would know that's not me, because that's not me. And if she posted what I post, they would think, what is the matter with her? And so though the posts in the simple party method right now, I don't want you to use, because I need to go in and update them. I've tried to make them a little bit more fun instead of so cut and dry. But basically, you have 2 days of posts. So on day 1, there are 3, I don't remember, there's either 3 or 4 posts on day 1, which is 2 days before the live. On day 2, there are only maybe a couple of posts, I think 2 additional posts. On day 3, there are 2 posts. And then when you finish, there's a post. And I've added another one where I track where my hostesses are. And maybe consultants, you can give me some feedback at some point on that. That's the one with the stars, where I let people know I want my hostesses to feel like rock stars. And Wendy and I use the, red carpet with the star on there, because there are many people that if they know where your hostess is, they will help her get to where you want her to be. And so that's the only reason that I do it. Like, I'm a kind of person where if somebody is, because I have the income, if somebody is short $50 from, getting a $50 credit, I'll find something to order for them. Don't make those decisions for your customers. Don't make those decisions. You don't know what's behind people. You don't know what they like, what they don't like. You don't know what they spend their money on or what they don't spend their money on. And that is not your responsibility. So make sure that you keep people aware so that if they choose to help out, they can. The goal is not to make anybody feel guilty. And I would pray and hope that those posts don't make anyone feel guilty. It's just a matter to let them know where the hostess is. That is all. Okay, so there's only about 9 posts. And then there are times when, like you've seen in some of the new parties, the new people parties, where I don't do the this or that's. What I do is I group products together, and you can choose to do what works for you, okay? But what I've done instead is, I'm not going to do anything with those this or that's. I don't have a list that says, okay, she likes Grace and Gratitude and she likes Simply Elegant. If we have a sale on Simply Gratitude, I'll run a report that gives me some of the products and tells me, but I don't keep that. Maybe you can. I don't have time to do that. So what I want to know, though, or what I want them to know, is I want them to know the different table settings that we have. So we have 2 table settings. I want them to know that we have 3 throws that they can choose from, or that we have 4 different serving pieces that they can choose from. And then our Simple Joys line, that here's our kitchen products, and what would you use? So that's what I have, and I'm going to post those so that during your parties, it's not the same, because you're going to have some of the same people in your parties that they don't see the exact same thing. So Jen and I and Wendy will add graphics for each of the posts that you can then pick up and use however you want to. Those are the additions that I have added. Otherwise, I try not to add anything, because in a party, your goal is not really to have people comment, because the ones who comment are the ones that are you or your hostess, or some people will comment, but that's not what you're interested in. You're interested in, are people looking at my posts? And that's the views. You're more interested when you look at a post, when it says 12 views, you're more interested in how many people are seeing that, because a view is they sat on the page and they looked at it. It's not that they just scrolled on by it. So they sat on the page and they actually read it. And Facebook tracks that via timing and stuff. And so that's what you're really looking for. So don't worry if you don't have people that are commenting. That's okay. The only one that they'll really comment on is the one that says about the hostess. You know, give a couple of words that'll encourage the hostess for a rainy day and why you love her. And you'll get that. And we do things with that. As Wendy said, that's the little prayer card that you all got in your starter kit. We use that right on the back of it, all the words that people said, and send that to her. Yeah, she's showing it. And on the back, you write the words that people said. Like if it said good mom, Christian mother, cares about her kids, great friend. Those are the things you write on the back, and then you send to that. That's like a little hostess gift for her after the party when you send your thank you note to her. Okay. So two, when that party starts, you want day one posts in there. And then if you're not familiar, we'll do some training on Facebook. But if you're not familiar, you can schedule posts. So I would recommend that you cut out some time, and when you have a new party that you're setting up, you post everything. You do all of your posts and you schedule them. This is the one that's going to post on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You know, you can schedule the date and the time. Or
I have to interject. I didn't know
Sure.
you could schedule posts because I'd never done a Facebook group. And I remember saying to Emily, our mutual friend, Anne's other recruit that signed up when I did, saying, golly, Anne must never sleep because she's posting at like 8 o'clock. She's messaging me when I'm up at like 10 o'clock. And I'm like, Anne, she works a full-time job. Like she must never sleep. How does she do this? And Emily said, she schedules her posts. And I said, what?
Yeah. So make sure that you know
tool.
that. Yeah. And make the time. I mean, that's the other thing. If you have a party, it's going to cost you some time. It's not going to cost you money, but it is going to cost you time. And if I'll be honest with you, I did that in the beginning. And Jennifer also, I have an assistant who is helping me. Now I'm lazy. And so I do it the night before, but then I'm up, you know, and I don't want to do that. So make it easy on yourself, because it's just a matter of cutting and pasting, copying and pasting, and changing the person's name and making it a little bit more specific for them. You do not have to reinvent the wheel. That's one thing that's good about any kind of direct sales business. You should not have to reinvent the wheel. Enough of us have been in it. We've been through the ropes. We know what works, what doesn't work. And when Wendy and I hear something new, believe me, we will implement it. If we think it's worth it, we will implement it for you. And I'm going to also schedule another training for all the new consultants with the woman that came up with the simple party method, so that you can hear from an expert who pays attention to all of that stuff, why we do the things that we do, because I can't explain it as well as she can. But just for now, believe me, because Wendy and I both, we initially started, my parties were 40, I counted 45 posts. Nobody's got time, A, to put all those posts out there, or to read them. So you want to really hone in on what's important to the customer. What's the message that you want to get across? And then too, you know, there's a post where you're going to do a quick introduction that should be 3 to 5 minutes. And there'll be one out there that I'll do, Wendy can do one, so that you can get a feel. That you have to do yourself. You do a live for 3 to 5 minutes just to introduce who you are, so people get to know you a little bit better. Because remember, this business is about relationship building too with your customers. It's not about sales. It's about getting those products in their homes to bring eternal hope and encouragement to them, to build those relationships, and to help the children in Tanzania. That's what the mission of the company is, not to put money in, you know, Anne's pocket. That's what helps us along the way if you do your job well, okay? But that's not the mission. And when you carry out the mission and vision, the minute you start focusing on money, I will guarantee you everything goes downhill. If you focus on the vision and mission of Mary and Martha, you will do well. You will do well. Okay, let's see, was there, I think, now there are some tips and tricks, like Wendy uses something called Flow Page, but I don't. And so if we don't do things all the same way, then she's going to tell you guys, and I can tell my team too, but we're not going to talk about that in this training right now. What we're talking about is here's the general gist of things and how they would go. Did I cover everything, Wendy?
That's a good question. Let me go back and look.
I am looking through, and I think that we did. So we designated an hour for this. So I think at this point, we probably do want to say, okay, so what kind of questions do you have? What did you understand? What didn't you understand? What doesn't make sense to you? What
And
do you
as a
think you're going to need
teacher-
help?
As a teacher, remember, the only stupid questions are the ones not asked.
That's right. That's true. Yeah.
So ask them.
Because by now too, all of you have done a party. If nothing else, you've done your own launch. Some of you are getting ready to do other parties. So I'd be surprised if you all don't have some kind of questions. Okay. Does what we said make sense? I mean, we're trying to make it easy. We are trying to make it as easy as possible for you. Okay, something came into my head that I was going to.
I do have a party this week, unless the host ends up having to reschedule because she had surgery last week. But I do have a party this week, and I can add any of you to it, all of you to it. Just let me know if you want a chance to be an observer in the party, again, just to see, because now you've either seen one as a host, seen one as a customer, or seen one as a launch, or maybe a combination thereof. And every time you see it in a different, like if you've attended one of mine and now you signed up as a consultant, or if you were the host, like Jen hosted with me, and now as she launched, like I'm sure she totally saw different things as the host launching as a consultant versus just the host she was in November. And so then to be able to watch I'm not the host, I'm a consultant in training, every time you see it with different eyes. And so if anyone wants that, let me know, send me a message or whatever. Rhoda, you outsold me this month. Christy wants it. Okay. You outsold me this month by leaps and bounds, Rhoda, let me tell you.
Yeah, we can always put you as a guest in one of our parties and let you just see it from start to finish. That is, and if any of you want to be in the ones I do, you just let me know and I'll be happy to add you. And I tell the hostess, you don't know this person, but they're just there to train. So definitely.
Oh, Kim's unmuted.
I feel like I'm just going to throw in a couple cents here.
Oh, Jen, go ahead.
I think it's just overwhelming because when you first start, and plus I personally had a lot going on, but you're getting into this party stuff and then you get 25 emails, with all the information and all the links. And then you're probably, or at least I did do some of the training videos and I try to read all the stuff that they send you. It's just a lot at one time. And until you're actually doing, because currently we're just watching or, participating in some way, but it's different. So you're talking about scheduling. I'm pretty Facebook savvy, but I too I didn't know you could schedule that. Until I actually do that, I would never know that that's a thing, And
now I've tried to schedule in my personal page and doggone it, you can't.
So, that's something I wouldn't know until I tried it or whatever. So I think it's just a lot of information that gets you know,
Can
and
you
then sorting it
disclose our
out, you know,
training
I'm sure
hours?
we're all in the same groups. We're in Wendy's group and we're in Ann's group. And then you're reading all of those posts and it's just like, I don't even know where to start.
Okay.
Right.
You know,
What do you want me
that's how
to
it
do?
feels.
Well, I was gonna say, Anne, can I do my true confession for training?
Yeah.
I haven't watched almost any of the videos. I didn't watch hardly any of them. I started, and it wasn't because I didn't want to. I had a party on February 4th last year. We closed it on the 7th. I signed up as a consultant on the 6th. My sisters booked jointly a party that we had on the 11th of February. I was the consultant. Anne did the party. So Anne didn't do my launch. My first party wasn't my launch. My first party was Anne doing the party that my sisters hosted because I begged them to. And then she had someone, so that was a Thursday. She had someone book for the following Tuesday. Oh crap, that's me. Like I had to be ready. And praise the Lord that I had to be ready, because that's when they had huge snowstorms in Texas. And Anne was without power for how many days? Like 4 days or something.
4 days. Mhm.
And so that was a Tuesday. She had someone booked for the following Thursday. It was her way up high in the company, Norwex leader. And that party closed at over $1,000. I didn't have any time. February, my son's birthday is the 15th. My son's birthday is the 19th. I've got 2 boys with birthdays. My parents' anniversary. Chris has a sister who has a birthday, and it's basketball tournament time. I didn't have any time to watch any stinking videos.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I still haven't watched any stinking videos since then. I've tried. I don't have time. I have gone through and I've looked at all the documents in the modules, because not everything in the modules is video. Some of it is documents, and I've looked at those. So don't get burdened by, I didn't get through the modules. I didn't get through the modules.
Yeah,
I
no.
can tell you,
Right.
we didn't.
Right. Because like you said, Jen, just in time training is better than anything. And so I think if you focus on modules 1 through 3, which really talk about the party experience and what to do on a party, and then use the others as resources. Like that's the first place that I go. When someone has a question that I don't know the answer to, I go to the modules and see, is there documentation? Like a Great Start rewards, which I think I need to send out to all the new consultants. The Great Start rewards, what is that? And so, then use it as resource materials. But yeah, I mean, we tell you to do that because that if you have the time, that is the best thing to do. And if you can watch them through once, that's great. And then go back to them when you need them and they'll make more sense. And hopefully, and there's not a whole lot in there about Facebook parties right now. A lot of it has to do with in-person parties. But you also get information on just how to do certain things. And before we end, what I wanted to show you really fast is I wanted to share my screen because I want to show you the back office.
And I'll also say, I didn't care. I didn't care. I chose not to put the time into watching these videos because I was never going to do this as a business.
Yeah.
I was gonna make back what I paid for my kit. That was all I was gonna do.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a joke. But then I didn't have time. So by the time I realized I was gonna do this, I didn't have any time. And I'm like, well, now I've already, I sold 2,500 in my first 3 weeks. They're a resource. I'm not gonna go back and watch them.
Yeah. Okay. So you all should be able to see my screen. So I'm sharing the back office. So this is the home page when you come in. And this is the page where you're going to find all the specials for the month. So if I scroll down, oh shoot, what happened here? Crap. Okay, I'm doing it on my hands. Hold on. Okay, if you scroll down here, you'll see February specials and the March specials are already out. Okay, they're right here. Right, sorry, I'm pointing and you can't
I'm
see.
pointing. Can you see me?
Yeah. Okay, so they're right here. The kits are going to stay the same from month to month now. Okay, the only thing that's going to change is like we get $100 product credit this month, or the special rather, how sweet it is. Next month, they'll change whatever the extra bonus item is that you get with the deluxe kit. So the deluxe kit is really the same now from month to month, and there'll be 2 kits going forward. But anyway, this is the page that you look at for what's going on in February and March. And this also has all of the information on the sale. Like here's the sale stuff. Okay, so this is where you create your events, you go to events, but I want to focus on this page. When you go to your order page, there's a lot on here. So first of all, this is if you need business supplies, if you need catalogs, if you want the pens that say Mary and Martha, this is the place that you go to purchase them. You can't add them to another kind of order. A consultant order is when I don't know that I would ever do this, but when you're going to add an order, just place an order, not on a party, just place an order. I would say you should never use this, okay? Because you always want to put it in a party. A customer order also, you always want to put in a party. I've never used that. Great Start Rewards is where new consultants and anyone who has earned product credit, that's where you're going to go to use your product credit. It's a separate order. It does not count as personal volume. That's what PV stands for, personal volume. So it won't show up in your sales because it's free. It's free. So this is using credit. And a party order is you don't have to create an event. Like say you've got somebody, 2 friends that want to order $300. You can create a party right on the fly, but I've never used that either. Okay, over here, your bookings, we won't talk about that. That's for another time. Your contacts are where your customer information is, and you can search on them. Follow-ups, the system will allow you to set up follow-ups at any time intervals that you want. Do I use this? No. Should I? Probably. Returns, if you,
I don't
Okay.
use it either, and I probably could.
Yeah, okay. If you have somebody that, like Sibylla has a product that is bad, she's got a couple of issues with products. One is her own, one is for a customer. This is where you go to enter returns, and you cannot add pictures. But if you want a faster return, what I do is I put in the return, you'll get a return number, write that number down, and then I send an email to care with the return number and say, here are the pictures so that you can see that the product is damaged. But Wendy and I will walk through, like Sibylla and I are going to walk through tonight, how to put in a return. Subscriptions is where you manage your website. That's where you can change your credit card information on the $10 that is charged a month. But over here, help documents, guys. This is a resource for you. Here's how to, let's see. Oh, half price booking instructions. Okay, this is where I think that it's when your previous hostess is going to get a half price item. How do you tie her party, the original hostess, to the guest who now has another party? We're going to show you that because that confused both Wendy and I in the beginning. So we'll show you that.
2 months to get it.
Yeah, and it is hard until you understand it. And I think a visual would help. So I'll put together how to activate your personal website, how to add contacts. Like if you just want to add somebody without an order, how to do that. How to check your rolling 6-month PV. What's another? How to set up an event online. You have the document from us, but you can also go here and get instructions. New consultant FAQs, that's a really good one. Go there, go look at what they are, because if you have a question, 9 times out of 10, somebody else has. Here's how you do returns, refunds, and exchanges, with your returns. So a lot of this information is out there. The only thing that I will say is a lot of it is unfortunately old. And so it may not make sense. So that's one of the things I'm hoping that they work with on the new system. And they have sent out an email to the leaders. I don't know if you got it, Wendy, but some leaders got it. If you've been in X number and said, we want your input, you can join a committee that will help us with this stuff, and I am going to
No.
put myself on it because
Please
this
do.
is what I do for a living. I write applications for a living, and this one pretty much sucks. So if I can help make it better, that's good.
Yes,
Once
join it, Ann. Join it.
Yeah. Once you close a party and you don't close it all the way, this is where you will see that party order. You go to order, you scroll down to the bottom, and they're here. Okay. This is where you'll see them, because some people freak out after you've closed your party, but you're not done yet. It's like, oh crap, I lost my order. You haven't lost your order. It's right here. Okay, so this is a great resource. This is the only thing I really wanted to show you. So you have lots of resources to get the information that you need before asking a question. Because you all know what we want to do is we want to teach you how to fish. We don't want to feed you the fish. So this is going fishing. So go fishing, okay? All right. So unless you guys have any other questions, I think that we are done. So does anybody have any additional questions? Okay, and finally, does anybody have any prayer requests? Anybody have a prayer request?
Yeah, I do. I'm pretty freaked out about what the CT scan of my sinuses is going to show tomorrow.
Okay, okay.
I'm not freaked out about what it's going to show. I'm pretty sure they're going to show that they're impacted in any surgery. I'm freaked out about the doctors saying, you know, you're so big, you shouldn't do surgery.
Wendy, but you know what? It's, yeah, you worry. I told Wendy
I'm
this.
just gonna put my vulnerability out there for everyone so that
No,
you all know.
Yeah, no, and
that
that's
the group.
That's what we want.
This is what we do.
Yes. And we have, if anybody wants it, hang on just a second, Jen. We have a great sermon today. It was called, It's About Worry. And the one thing that stuck with me is let wonder drive worry. Because think about it. If you're at a basketball game for your kids and they score, and you're high-fiving and you're excited, are you thinking about anything else at that point in time? No. So you're not worrying. You're thinking about the excitement and what just happened. So if we focus on the wonder of God and the wonder of what he did, whether it's nature, what Jesus did for us, if you focus on that, when you feel that worry creeping in, it will crowd out the worry. So let wonder drive the worry. It was a really great sermon today. Anybody else have any other prayer requests? Okay, so.
Kim, did you read Kim's in the chat, Ann?
No, I didn't.
I know, Christy, I want to link to the sermon too.
Okay, I'll post it.
Awesome.
I'll post it in the chat. I'll post it in the Joyful Home chat. For what, I can't get to the whole thing. So Kim, what's your request? Was it Kim or Christy?
I'm seeing my vein surgeon on Tuesday, but I said I'm asking for prayers, but I am not worried. I
Okay.
am just asking for prayers, but I'm
You've
also
been through, I know, and you've
Yeah.
been through a lot. So
For sure.
we just,
Yep.
yeah, we just need to keep you in our prayers. And did your daughter leave the call or is she still on?
She's still on.
Okay, because for some reason, I can't see everybody. And so Amanda, you are not to worry either. God's got it under control for your mom. I know how hard it is sometimes. Anybody have any other prayer requests? I can't see, I don't even think I can see hands. Anybody else have a prayer request? Okay, and I told you about my uncle the other day. He is not doing well. He's not awake. He was trying to take some breaths on his own, which was a good sign. And they moved him from an ICU, a regular hospital, to what they call an acute care hospital, which doesn't have all the bells and whistles. It's mainly for patients that just need to be, quote, maintained because they don't have infections or anything like that. Well, he has a fever. They don't know the source of the fever. We got a note from my aunt today saying that she's going to advocate that they move him back and put him back in ICU. He wasn't stable for that long before they moved him. And so she's very concerned because the last couple of days have not been going well. And so if you keep him in your prayers. And again, I'm just going to go through what I believe, even though I know all of you on here believe it, because at some point we'll have people that maybe are not part of the same body, that we are, but they're Christians. So, yeah. So I believe that Jesus came to earth. He was born of Mary. He lived a perfect life. He died an innocent death. On the third day, he rose victorious. And this has just been a really emotional weekend. So on the third day, he rose from the dead. And because of that, he's going to take heaven, or he's going to take us with him to heaven. And now the only thing that we have to do is really nothing. We believe that. And as a result of it, we live a life of thankfulness. And we don't have to do anything to earn our forgiveness because it's all been done for us. And isn't that a wonderful thought? So if you believe that, then please pray with me. Dear Lord, thank you for letting us come together tonight. Thank you for opening the hearts of these women to hear Wendy and I, so that they can understand that we do have their best interests at heart. And the more that we can pour into them and the more information we can give them, the better off they will be to run their business as the way that they want to run their business. And Lord, give them the desire to run their business, if that be your will, and if that's what they want, because it can provide income for their families and it can spread your word of eternal hope and encouragement throughout the people that they are seeing. And Lord, please keep in your prayers, or please watch out, help us keep in our prayers. Wendy, watch over her. She's been sick for a long time. And we know that she's had issues with sinuses, but Lord, if it be your will, please let it that they're not impacted and she doesn't need surgery. And if she does, then give her, make her feel and see that wonder of you, so that it crowds out the worry and there's nothing to worry about. And to just take it one day at a time. Her business will survive and thrive, and so will her family. And she will come back, if she has to have surgery, stronger than ever to serve you and the people around her. And also keep Kim in your prayers. She's had lots of medical conditions that people need, that Lord, you're in control of. And so give her the doctors with the brain surgeon that she's going to see. Give her the doctors that are able to find out what, if there are any problems, the source of the problem, and how to fix the problem. And Lord, keep her also so that she's looking at the wonder of you and not the worry. And give that same confidence and assurance to her family as well. And Lord, please watch over Grover and give confidence to our family that that he's going to wake up, that you have him around and you're keeping him alive, because he is going to wake up and he is going to come back to us. Give a special measure of your love to Faye, as she is the only one that is there with him day after day. She's making the decisions for him. And please let her know that we are all here for her, that we are all praying for her. And Lord, if it be your will, there are so many people that are praying for him. Please allow him to start breathing on his own. Please help the doctors find out what the source of the infection is. And if it be your will, please bring him back to us. And Lord, if that's not your will, then take him home. Take him home quickly. We ask all of this in your name. Amen. Sorry about that. So thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, please reach out to Wendy and I, and we will be more than happy to help you. Okay.
And I just want to, before we go, say, Anne, thank you for picking up all of the slack.
Oh, you're welcome.
All of my slack the last 3 weeks, 2
That's
months.
what we do
I don't
for
even
you.
know. Like, it's been so long. I can't even tell. But thank you,
You're
because
welcome.
you've gone above and beyond. And
Oh,
so, thank
thanks.
you.
Thanks. Yeah. And you're all welcome. Very welcome. So, okay. Have a great night, everybody. Bye.
Bye.